Madness of the masses. Ireland. We have 160 TDs. They get €100 thousand salary a year. Multiply it by 160 and you get 160 million a year. If I had 160 million, my goal was to see how many people I can help using the gifts that God gave us. €200 can feed a person for a month, €2,400 a year for one person, and 4,000 to feed a person for 60 years. Out of the 160 million, you can feed 1,111 people for 60 years. Or for 2,400 a year, you can feed 6,666. Property costs between like 200,000 to 350,000 a year to buy a property. Out at 160 million, if you divide that by 350,000, you'll be able to build 457 new homes. A TD salary should be €5 an hour, or they can live off the charity of the people, of the citizens. €800 can pay for 10 treatments of cancer for a person a year. 160 million out of that, you can treat over 200,000 people for treatment for cancer a year. Or get Irish health insurance for under 65s for €1,350 a year, which 160 million would pay for 11,000, 10,800 and 518 people a year. Ask yourself, as a species, 160 million could go better use than to give it to people who already have a life that is already of contentment. They have their own property, they already have a steady full income from a previous job they have, whether it be teacher or in healthcare, or previous as a doctor thing, which is previously already have a pension for already. So you already have a comfort house where house and income coming to where feed themselves with food and necessary items. So it's a very daft idea that as a species we pay them so much money when they're already well off, and we currently have a housing crisis, a crisis of a social net being overextended, and a hard homeless crisis where majority of people don't own their own property, they rent their own property. And here then the masses then elect people with the salaries of €100,000 a year, and don't mention Taoiseach and Taoiseach there, who get paid around 170 to 190,000 a year, and plus the other positions that I had not mentioned, and other kind of high paying jobs that like talk show hosts that get paid high salaries. So yeah, it's utter madness when you look deeper into other things as well in humanity. Madness of the masses, 160 million, that's 160 million, but over 10 years that'd be 1,600 million. And then over 30 years that'd be 4,800 million, which I think is, I might be mistaken because that might be 4.8 billion. I don't know, I'm very bad at numbers, but it's you might in the comment section might tell me it's 1,600,000,000, and then after 30 years it's 48,000,000,000,000. That's a lot of numbers. So that's how much after 30 years of money goes into pockets of people that already have enough comfort existence anyway, that they don't actually need that money in the first place. But as the masses, we don't mind paying a bunch of corrupt evil people to rule over us and completely enslave us. We don't mind. TD salary is 10,000 a year, max citizens. This is what I recommend. I recommend TDs should only get €10,000 a year a max. Citizens give them extra if they so choose. Say if if they're doing a good job and actually working and actually doing what they're supposed to do, like helping people. Otherwise they should be paid less. It should be based on meritocracy, not based on not based on just fact we elect them and then after a couple of years there's no accountability. It's the only job, it's the politician and banking, it's the only job you can do where you can probably rob things from the masses and there's no consequences. You will get bailed out. 160 TDs, that's 106,000. So that'd be for 160 TDs. That'd be 1 million, 600,000, which is better than like 160 million a year. So that's a difference of 158400000 a year. The world is designed towards sin, evil, and not heavenly virtues and good. After all, the ruler of this world is Satan. My salary for McDonald's, now just as give examples, would be between like 212 and like 371 euro a week. That would be 848 between and 1,484 euro a month, which is 10,176 euro a year, or 17,808 euro a year. Now, most of my income, about 300 euro of it, goes towards rent, food. I can live off what God provides me. I basically just wait until my cupboard's empty, fill it up, and then eat it. So I'm more of a giver. I don't like to hoard my resources. I'm greedy because I know this existence is temporary. So I save up for a car, which I was originally saving up €1,000 a month, but a lot of things that came into my calculations, basically income stream and other things, means that I'm now just going for 400 or 500 euro a month. So with 400 euro a month save up car, which 4,800 a year, in 3 years I have 14,400 euro. And then I can get a loan from a credit union. So yeah, if I was renting a place that was about 1,000 euro a year, it'd be impossible for me to afford a car. But well, low. So, and to me a car's not important really, because this world is nearly going to an end anyway. So save up for a house, 400 euro a month, it'll be 4,800 euros. After 10 years I have 48,000. After 20 years, 96,000. Now, keep in mind that property costs between 190,000 to 350,000 euro a year. Which, funny enough, if I became a corrupt politician, I'd be afford to buy a house in 2 years. Or 3 years max. If I sold my soul to the devil and completely wanted to butcher people and take money off them and completely inflict pain on the masses. But I have integrity and honour, and I serve God and heaven, not this world, not this evil world of sin. So I'm not gonna do that. So after 30 years, that's 144,000, and 40 years be 192,000. So in 40 years' time, which I be 71, I be able to afford a property. That's if the properties are still that price by then. Who knows? Of course, then again, the world's not gonna last that long, so it's irrelevant what I'm doing now. I won't be alive, so it'll be irrelevant. 240,000, 50 years. This video will be here. This video will be probably, I don't know. 240,000 or 50 years. Now, if I was to save 9,600 euro, say 800 euro a month, which is 9,600 euro a year, I have 96,000 after 10 years, 192,000 after 20 years. So after 20 years, I'd be able to buy a property. So I'd be 70. No, 51. 51. You can see where I'm going with this. It's a sort of like, it's either I save up money and 20 years I have a place. 20 years. So the only possible way I could have owned a property when I was 40, if I somehow worked in a place when I was like 16. I already started walking when I started walking when I was 30. So 30 years be 288,000, after 40 years be 384,000, and after 50 years be 480,000 now. So my plan is to move to Portlaoise. Well, that was the plan, but it probably won't never materialise. It's just like a pipe dream I had. To be like St. Patrick and going around spreading the gospel to every corners of Ireland via the train, and visiting all the sites when I have a car as well. So If it's by God's will, it'll happen. If not, it doesn't. But till then, I'm still going to use my resources to help others and not be of this world. And people, if so choose, can use the resources on themselves. They can keep on going shopping, buying stuff they don't need, and they could choose to help each other, but they choose not to. So it's not surprising when like people who are very sinful masses then elect people who are sinful and rob them. It's not surprising, and then maybe 4 years we repeat the cycle again, because you got to just look the way we are now, the world where people are obsessed with fear, because the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, and when you don't fear God, yes, the fear of God is the beginning of knowledge, and when you don't fear God, humanity thinks of itself as God, and then they end up destroying each other. A couple of stories in the Bible would emphasize like the Cain and Abel being one of the main stories, Noah being another one, and it's many of them actually you can point to, which would be great. Proverbs, it's very good knowledge in Proverbs from King Solomon. Psalms, very good for love and as well, and there's many parts of the Bible, Matthew, Luke, John. So yeah, this world is designed toward sin and evil. That's why you see a lot of very people who have a lot of resources have like a load of fleet of cars, a load of fleet of ships, and think like they could use that resources on paying for operations for kids that have cancer, paying for treatments for people who are blind. We as a species waste so much on sin, like drinking, drugs, sex. You have different industries that just completely focus on like on degeneracy, and you just have complete like clubs, music, just complete waste of resources that are destructive for a species. TV, constantly watching Netflix, kind of these streaming services, people just becoming couch potato Smiths in most existence, like 3 hours, 5 hours a day. Now, I know the irony that before I had the Holy Spirit, that I wasted a lot of my existence playing PlayStation. I just whoop. 1/3 of my life is boop. God, play PlayStation, and it's just. I look back now and I laugh at myself. So but I can laugh at my own greed growing up. The amount of resources that I used could have helped people, but I can't do nothing about the past, but I can do something about the present moment, and I can't do nothing about the future, because the future's out of my hands. That's up for God's will, for God so choose. For if my soul was to return to him, he'll so choose that. But till then, I'd be a light to this world, in this world of darkness. But if I had €1 trillion tomorrow, you know exactly what I would do with it. I'd be on a quick race to see how many people I can help. Build houses, pay for operations, disown when not, like the money is going to help them. If it is, I won't hesitate to buy people houses, like the 451 houses. I won't hesitate in a second. If I had 160 million of the TDs salaries, I would do straight away, buy people houses, and then help them get jobs. Because when the house, they have an address, and then they'll be able to get some work. Much more better idea than people renting houses. Think about it. So instead of giving all that money to politicians, my fellow Irish people, you instead invest that in building 451 houses for families. Smart idea. And get them in jobs in the public service. So instead of paying the PDs, just pay people who actually want to work. Instead of paying people who already are very wealthy, and we create a generation that focuses on the main priorities of food. Is the main thing. Food should be number one thing. If most of your income goes towards materialistic things, then you're wasting the gifts that God gave you, because God gifted us with this world, with money to use to help each other. And if you're using it on sin, then you're completely wasting those resources. So that's why society's so screwed up. That's basically why. Because everyone's just spending on things that they only use once or twice, and they don't. I'll just spend my time watching TV, buying DVDs after DVDs after DVDs, and I know I laugh myself doing this. Like, we maybe watch like once or twice, and then when you try and sell them in the future, then they're what, like 5 cents. So, of video games are what, €80, you sell them, then you might get €5 or €20 back from them in the future. So you must think before you buy anything as something that you're going to use. and people become attached because of what happened to them when they're children at Christmas time. They become attached to objects when they're children, so when they get older then they just have to have it. They have to have the shiny little thing that's on sale. Does it ever come across mind if they're going to use it constantly? No. This world is one of greed and one of deep sin, which is why the reason why humanity is the way it is. So yeah, that's my video of the madness of the masses for Ireland. But I guarantee you can go to nearly any country on the globe, and if you find the same pattern of people who are extremely well off that go into politics, that they don't need that money in the first place, when that money could be allocated towards actually helping people, instead it's just there to fill their pockets. Then you're being controlled by very satanic and very corrupt and evil people. And when you look at the end result, when there's a lot of poverty, when there's a lot of joblessness, when there's a lot of complete despair and lack of spirituality and lack of connection with God, you definitely know that you're living in a place that's very heavily influenced by the devil. Anyway, thanks so much for watching this video.